Evening, everybody. My name's Mick Mason. Most of you will know me, and I'm here with David Leopold, and we're here to present Where is Your Business Today? This week's topic, Carpe Diem, seize the day. And we also have a special guest, two guests actually this evening. And I'm going to hand over to David now while I just deal with some technical things in the background. Hi, David. How are you doing, buddy?
I don't know, Michael. It's been a long day in the HOA world for me today, but very excited about start building your business. It's something that if folks haven't already gotten started in 2014, they are late. We are all making changes. We are all putting things into place. And I wanted to actually share, Michael, three questions, things that people must be thinking about. And I should mention to our viewing audience that if you have a question or a comment about anything that I'm saying or questions that I'm asking, answers that I'm giving, please comment. And Michael, how's that comment actually working with all the various platforms we're on tonight?
Shall I bring it up for a moment?
Well, sure. Show folks how it works, and
sure.
We and show them we're going to be taking questions from how many different platforms tonight?
Right now we're feeding into Facebook. Let me think. Hosted Hangouts website. Google Plus, the Google Plus events page, and YouTube, of course. And we're taking comments from all those places, and also Twitter. You just use the hashtag, it's over there on the left, #1 business ideas, and you can use that hashtag on Twitter, and we get it. You can use it on Google Plus, and we get it. You can make a comment against the video, and you can make a comment in the event page. I'll just show you now. We have the. Let me have a look.
Yeah, send that tweet out there, Michael. Tell the world that Small Biz David's on here now. I want to see that tweet.
There's all the comments that come through. This was a very cool video treatment. Thanks, James. And most of the other comments are just us promoting the product. Carol says she doesn't know if she can make it, but I'm sure she'll try. She may be.
Well, she better show. This is good stuff, Carol. You better come over.
Well, I think another reason is as well, not just for the guests that we've got coming on, but we have a really special offer lined up just for G Plus users later in the show. And we've decided to extend it, and we'll tell you a little bit more about that later. But I'm enjoying this. I love playing with the technology, and the more I play with it, the more I become familiar with it. I think a couple of weeks ago I was setting up a show 2 hours early, then last week an hour early, and then this week I think 30 minutes before, because I already had everything set up.
And then what'd you say, next week we're going to go back to the 2 hours?
Maybe. You never know.
Well, one thing I might say about the technology, please don't make me do anything, Michael. Please, you need to be there to guide this, because you know what's going to happen if I get involved in the technology. I might have you up on. Yeah. I might have you up on top and me on the bottom, and that's not how you want it. And oh my goodness!
What, you mean like this?
No, like what?
Like this?
Well, I get. No, I want the bigger image. Come on, I want the bigger image, Michael. Please, Michael.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, thank you. Okay,
so
let's talk.
What are the topics this week then?
Well, I had posed 3 questions earlier in the week. They are questions that every small business must be able to answer, and they should be also not just, okay, here's what we need to do. They should be working on these. And what I'd like to do is ask the questions, give the answers, or my answers, look for comments from our viewers, but then share what I am doing with my business with regard to all these questions, just so they can get an idea of what I'm talking about. So,
yeah.
Question number one is in the category of, excuse me, small business strategy. Oh, excuse me. And the question is, what are the three most important bullet points of your 2014 business strategy? A fair question to ask. We are, 9 days into January, and you should certainly have those bullet points in place, those questions in place, and be working on the answers. One of the mistakes folks make in their small businesses, Michael, is that they kind of think they know what the strategy is. And it's not a problem if you're not sure and you ask for help.
No, I think you agree. For a lot of people, if you say to them, I remember years ago I was in England and I set up a small business, and I went to the bank and I wanted a loan, and the first thing they asked me was, "Do you have a business plan?" And I think I must have been about 18, 19 at the time. I didn't have a clue.
Well, the plan is one thing, but now we should be in the real strategy, how we're going to execute. Mm-hmm. But in my case, and some of the folks who are viewing, they've seen some of my execution on my strategy. But a very important thing that Dreaming with Entrepreneurs is going to do this year is create an advisory. And that advisory will do somewhere maybe between 3 and 4 Hangouts per month. And in those Hangouts, somebody who is starting a business can come before this advisory panel. There'll probably be, well, not probably, there will be an attorney, small business attorney. There will be an accountant, small business accountant. There will be a business strategist. There'll be a small business marketing person. There'll be a technology person, and there'll be a banker. Maybe a banker or somebody who just has a wide bit of information about money matters for your business.
So a nice kind of broad spectrum of advice, of consultants, if you like.
Well, to that point, everybody needs an advisory of some sort. Some people call them advisory boards. You need to have outside advice. They could be friends who excel in those areas. They could be paid folks that help your business. A wide array of approaches to that, but the important thing is that you're getting a perspective on those various aspects of your small business. So we're going to do it with Dreaming Entrepreneurs. I am assembling folks who are interested in being on the advisory panel. As a matter of fact, if there are any viewers tonight who think that they would like to be on that advisory panel, please. Michael, what will be the best way for folks to, short of using my email address, what will be the best way for folks to communicate with you or with me?
I would say through G+. They can just tag us. I know we have the community set up, but in order to communicate with each of us directly, it's far easier for them to just tag us on Google+. And the great thing about Google Plus is you can start a message, and instead of making it private and just tag a couple of people at the bottom, and then write your message, and it comes through as a personal message straight into your stream. You know, I use that quite a lot.
What about all our friends at Facebook that are watching this show tonight?
Well, they can come to the website.
Well, and didn't you tell me that we were going to have a lot of folks viewing from Facebook because of our guests
We'll probably have a few viewing. Yeah, I know that I have a show set up on Sunday with our guests, and we have 600 confirmed
Oh,
attendees.
it was on. I was confusing. That's Sunday night.
Yeah,
Our guest is our guest who's actually going to be using our technology
yeah,
is
yeah,
going to have. Oh, that's right. It was Saturday. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so back to what my specific strategy is. So, point one is creating this advisory. Um, Another major objective of myself is to create a platform, if you will, where Hangouts on Air will be able to attract national advertising. Now, some of the folks who know me personally know that this is a very important part of what I want to do in 2014 because let's not kid ourselves. There are thousands of Hangouts on Air involving thousands of people, both in the live realm as well as recording, as the recorded realm. And I guesstimate, Michael, not really guesstimate, I've got my hands around some numbers that probably 5 times as many folks will watch a recorded version of something that I do in Dreaming with Entrepreneurs as to the actual number of folks who are watching it. So that's an important thing, and all those things are things that advertisers are concerned with and want. They're searching. So one of my major objectives, in fact, will be, you see we're getting a message from our guests? Or you're,
yeah. We've got them in
okay,
the green room. I'm just going to
okay.
change the scene a second because I need to do something, some magickery in the background. I'm going to place myself full screen because I just need to bring our guests in to the green room. And I need that. Okay, I've got that. Okay, you're back on screen.
Okay.
I'm going
Uh,
to bring them in now, but we can carry on talking.
Okay, so the third thing that I want to do with my Dreaming with Entrepreneurs brand is I want to engage 250 new business relationships this year.
Yeah.
Now, in that particular um, um, bullet point, I actually have something that I can measure against. It's not just engage new business relationships, it's engage 250. That way I can take that number and work backwards with it to see what I must do every month, every week in order for me to attain that goal. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm talking about, Michael, when I say bullet points for strategy. It's very
Yeah.
important for every small business to take the time, write them down in your own handwriting, and put them at a place where you can easily see them and reference them several times a day, making sure that you're on strategy, doing the things that you need to do. Okay, second thing in the area is deliverability.
Uh-huh.
the the question, the key question in deliverability is how are you using marketing technologies to execute against your business strategy? There are many marketing technologies that are available. Michael and I are sharing some of them tonight with you. The important part of this question is to make sure that you have a system in place.
Yeah.
All small businesses must operate with the idea that they are developing a system. Your
Mm-hmm.
business has to be systemized. That way, A, you're going to be running more efficiently, and B, you can make sure that the system is running properly.
Do you know another thing I've just realized about the system that we're using?
What's that, Michael?
Um, we can actually bring guests into the live hangout as we just have, and nobody on the outside can see them in the film strip because the film strip is obscured.
You mean
The film strip is
I'm in
actually
the film
behind my
strip?
phone here. But yeah, I know. But if we
Oh,
have
but I'm up
like
on the big
seven
screen.
or
Yeah, don't you
yeah,
forget to keep me on that big screen, Michael.
if we
Or
had 7 or 8 guests, hang on, they would start appearing here. So we have to keep the guest list short. Um, but the guys that are coming on tonight, there should only be about 3 or 4 in the film strip. So that'd be nice and easy. I'd like to, while we're waiting for the start of the show to come on, I'm going to do a quick introduction by way of a video
wait,
segment.
can I do a quick thing on
You,
return on
you,
investment?
oh,
Quick,
I'm so sorry, David. Yes.
quick. Okay. Third,
No, it's not return on investments, though, is it? It's return on
return on
resource
resource
investment. Yep.
investment. One last question, and actually, I'll deal with it in a hangout that I do tomorrow. I'll go into more depth answer on this question. How do you evaluate your use of resources? Resources are time. Resources are your intellectual property, and of course, resources are money. So
Yeah.
a lot of folks say, what is your return on investment? I like to say, what is your return on resource investment?
Resource investment.
Because you have time, you have to measure, okay, it takes me an hour to do something, a task. What is the return that I'm getting on that hour of time? Your intellectual property, that's the thing that it's toughest to measure because we have it, and too often we give that intellectual property away. We have to have a handle around that. And then, of course, there's the obvious thing of money. How much money do I take out of my pocket? How much revenue will that generate for money that I take out of my pocket for a specific aspect of my business? Okay, that's it. And Michael, actually, I will do an HOA tomorrow in Dreaming with Entrepreneurs, and I'll give better answers, more detailed answers on those questions. But I see that our guest is getting his hair ready. He's ready to come on screen, Michael.
He is indeed. David and I have been working with these guys, me personally, for I think over a month now, maybe longer. And you know, David and I have been working with them for the last couple of weeks, and it's really interesting what these chaps are doing. The first guy that I'm going to introduce is a chap by the name of Nick Abel. And I think to start with, I need to first of all bring myself on screen. There we go. Hit the right button. It helps. Now, Nick works with. He has worked with yoga teachers, entertainers, musicians, and he's an internet business consultant, and he covers things like audience reach, audience engagement, and he helps these people reach a wider audience, find a platform for the voice, because it's all well and good having the stage, but now we live in the world of social media, etc. And Nick's the guy that does this. He's got a lot of experience in the area, and the one thing that these two guys have in common is that we came in contact with them. They needed to find a voice on G Plus, on Google Plus, and we're helping them to do that. So what I'm going to do is just hand over to Nick for a moment and see if I can engage with our star guest and get him in as well. Over to you, Nick, when he unmutes himself. That's it. Got to press the right button. All new technology. How you doing, Nick?
Right. I'm all right. Yourself?
Good, yeah. Nick
can
is
you
in.
just before I start talking, like, can you hear me okay with this headset?
Yep, can hear you fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep,
Cool.
not a problem.
Great.
A very quick question for you, Nick, because we had hail and rain and snow here in Tenerife. How's the weather in Newcastle?
Well, I'm just outside of Newcastle, quite high up, and the weather is, well, I can't really see outside at the moment, but yeah, the weather's all right. Bit chilly today. No snow yet. No snow yet. Yeah. So.
No, brilliant. That's well. Let me think. We're in January now, so maybe May, June we'll get a day or two of summer in England. So I did a very brief introduction there because, as I said to you before, we prefer if you do the talking and tell the audience about yourself, because some people that are watching will know who you are. They will know Andy James, who, fingers crossed, to be with us in a moment, and others won't. So,
Yeah, sure.
and it's not an elevator pitch. The platform's yours. The platform's yours. So expand on anything I've said, or come in with your own thing, Nick.
Yeah, sure. I mean, well, I guess this is a business show, so I'll sort of give a brief overview about what I do and how I got to where I am now, as quickly as what I can. I worked for 10 years as a musician from the age of about 22, 23. I started working with the late Maestro Ravi Shankar when I was 23 in India. And that started out as a student of music and sitar and indie music and improvisation, and that went on over several years to being an accompanist on tour. We travelled all around the world doing tours of, America, Europe, Far East, playing in the big concert halls, Sydney Opera House and Carnegie Hall, Royal Albert Hall, so on and so on. Did that for a few years. And in 2006 I had a daughter, and that sort of like threw me off a little bit and made me start to think, I don't really want to be travelling the world anymore. I wanted to kind of settle at home, and I need to figure out what to do. How am I going to make a living? So I guess I was a musician, so I just started teaching guitar and doing other things like that. But being quite a seeker, I just was always hungry for more, so I started studying courses and, learning about business, marketing, and all these kind of things, and that's kind of how I got involved in business, I guess, that was sort of like my education in it. And actually one of my students, a guy from Poland who was living in the UK, gave me a Tony Robbins course, because we used to exchange stuff, lessons and different things, and he was like, check this out, and I looked at it and I thought, never heard of this guy, who is he? And I put it on my shelf, and it was on my shelf for like a year. And then one day I saw this movie, and Tony Robbins was in this movie, and I was like, oh, that's that guy. Maybe I should listen to this. And I listened to it, and that was actually a course called Personal Power 2. And it just totally blew my mind in many ways, not just in terms of business, but self-development and, self-confidence and just loads in many, many areas, and that sort of like threw me into being sort of like supercharged, motivated, and from that, a lot of other things have developed kind of to where I am now, which is getting more into internet business, digital products, being a musician and teaching guitar, and being a musician traveling and touring, being involved in all the things that a musician's involved in, how to make a living, making records, performing, recording, writing music. Yeah, I was even involved for quite a number of years in sort of like film and TV music, and I just started to think, how can I maximize my time and energy and the cash that I had to invest? And I guess for me, that the best way that I thought would be to get involved with digital media and digital products, And that leads us to where.
Yeah, go on. Sorry.
Yeah, that kind of leads me to where I am now. I had an idea a few years ago to create a website because I was involved in Indian music, and that's kind of where I had a lot of experience. I kind of thought it would be good to start a website teaching Indian music. And initially it was like, I'll do it myself, but I wasn't really, I'm not known in that area. Although I have a lot of contacts and I've done a lot, I was still kind of like very much at the bottom of the pile, So I thought, wouldn't it be good if I could get a few artists to work, to create the content, and I would kind of work there in the background, working on the website, the marketing, and help with the content.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a way of leveraging my time a little bit. So I did that, but that took almost a year and a half, 2 years to get off the ground because there was so many obstacles, as there is in anything. But being very determined, and I just kind of like I just overcome them basically, One of the biggest obstacles was obtaining the content, to the point where I just got a flight to India, bought a camera, bought some lights, and just went to India to film the content myself, So
I know that pain. Oh, just a moment. Something's going on with the Hangout here. I need to. There we go. There's something that came to mind as well while you were talking.
Yeah.
Since I've met David and David and I have started working together, we seem to be bumping into pairs of people a lot. And one of them is generally a techie or a web developer or social media, or in your case, internet business consultant.
Yeah.
And the other one, and David will attest to this, is the talent.
The talent, yeah.
Yeah. And
I thought I was the
internet
marketer.
Talking about that, what I'm going to do is just play something before we introduce our guest of the evening. Okay? Just cue that up. Cue that up. Okay, it's not playing.
Si tiene un negocio, tiene una tienda. Y lógicamente, las tiendas necesitan un público.
Now that was just a little bit of a video Andy has. Andy James, guest for this evening. That video's had I think 350,000 views, Nick, something like that.
No way, 350,000 views.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do now, we're going to bring the man on himself. I'm going to mute myself on my microphone so that you three guys can talk amongst yourselves, and I'll deal with all the techie stuff in the background. Andy, how are you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I'm alright. Finally made it in.
Yeah, fantastic. We knew we'd get you in here eventually.
Yeah, I couldn't. I didn't realise I had to scroll down and accept the terms and conditions.
Oh yeah, because when you log in for the first time, you've got to accept the terms and conditions.
Well, there's a picture. There's like a square picture.
Yeah, yeah.
So are you going to abide by all the terms and conditions, Andy?
I'll try my best.
Okay.
Right, I'm going to hand over to you guys, and I'm just going to do some tech stuff in the background, okay?
Sure. I want to thank you, gentlemen, for coming this evening. And I can't remember the last. You're a big music star in England, aren't you?
I don't know about that, but I play guitar, and people have seen my stuff. So yeah, that's kind of it. Really.
You have a huge following on the internet, don't you?
Yeah, it's getting that way. It's it's always building, so which is a good thing. Trying to get it bigger, hopefully.
So did you two find each other in the guitar world or in the business world, or how did everything come about?
Well, Nick just emailed me on Facebook.
Yeah,
messaged me on Facebook. That was it.
Yeah, I was searching for an artist to work with, specifically a guitarist, because that's what I do. I play guitar as well. Someone who has these kind of views and these kind of hits, but someone who isn't like a massive, huge artist where if you send them an email, they're just never going to reply. So that's how it was. Just a Facebook message.
Yeah.
Well, I think that Andy seems like a pretty engaging guy. So if you send him an email, he's gonna respond to you. Is that right, Andy?
Funny you say that. I mean, not always. I mean, I was I was tempted to sort of like ignore it. I mean, I saw his profile picture and I was like, no, I don't know. And then, but no, I thought no, I'll have to. I did reply, and then he called me. I think I don't know if it was the same day or whatever, and then. I was in bed, like I am now, really, just laying on my bed.
Yeah, what is this gig about being in bed? Is that what's that all about?
It's just somewhere where I can be quiet, where I'm living,
Oh, there you. So, where do you live? Where do you live?
I live in Norwich, a place called Norwich, which is like east of England, on the coast.
On the coast, and I actually know where Newcastle is because I have been to the UK twice. And both times I went to Newcastle. You know where the train station is in Newcastle?
Oh yeah, sure, yeah.
Okay,
of course.
Well, no, right across the street from there, there used to be a call center, and I was visiting. I was visiting that call center. I did it twice in probably 97, 98, and so I don't even know if that call center's still there. But I found Newcastle to be a fascinating city, and I guess they play some pretty good soccer there, some pretty good football there, don't they?
They do, yeah, but I don't personally. I don't really follow the football, like, but yeah.
Well, Geordie
okay.
Shore, that's a good program.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's all right, no. I mean, how do you get on with the accent?
I'm sorry.
How do you get on with the accent from Newcastle?
Oh, how does he get it, or how does I get it? I mean,
Sorry, David.
No. Well, he mentioned earlier that he's from a city near Newcastle. I'm not that good that I understand the various dialects, but you know, if I had to do it all over again, I would come to the UK. I mean, I love the sound intonations and all the work and all the discussions I have with Mick. I love the English expressions. The vernacular is so much more picturesque than English. So one of these days I'm going to come over there and I'm going to study you guys and I'm going to get it down.
Yeah, I mean, I've spent a lot of time in America, you know, and the Americans love our accent, you know. In fact, it's quite strange because a lot of times I get people saying, "Are you from Wales? Are you from Scotland? Are you Irish?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "No, I'm from Newcastle." You know, they drink brown ale.
Americans don't ask you that.
They do, yeah. It happens. It happens a lot.
How would Americans know that? You know, how could they get that fine tuned? I mean, Michael has a very strong Irish type accent on top of. He's from Wales, but does he not have a pretty strong Irish accent on top of it?
I don't know. I think it's Yorkshire, isn't it?
It is Yorkshire, yeah. It's like
Yeah.
Okay,
from Yorkshire, right? Sorry.
So how does that play? Wow, how does that play in music? Because you have a very, very strong following in the United States. Am I correct?
To be honest, it's really hard to gauge, like, following, really. I mean, it's sort of like if I put a post on Facebook or I put a video out or, anything like that, then obviously, people watch it and they comment and, it's only really when I go to places like, I mean, in the next couple of weeks I'm going to America for a show in Anaheim in Los Angeles or near there. And it's only like when you go places like that and you're walking around and obviously people are fans of music or whatever, they're walking around. And, you get stopped like all the time going, oh, I've watched your DVDs or I've got your music or, can you sign this? And it's pretty much like 3 days of just signing stuff and having photos of people. And so, yeah, it's only really then you can sort of like gauge that people know who you are and what you do sort of thing. But, when you're just filming to camera or, practicing guitar or just playing in general, you don't really realise that anyone's, watching what you're doing. Or I don't know, it's kind of strange. When it's internet based, it's harder, I think, to sort of follow. I think the only way you really know, what a following's like or whatever, I suppose if you do a lot of live shows and a lot of people turn up and, ticket sales and that kind of thing. But
well, that's pretty interesting. So you do way more performing on the internet than you do a live in-person show?
Well, I do at the moment. I mean, I was in a band called Sacred Mother Tongue, and we sort of like gigged for quite a long time. We played quite a lot of shows this year and stuff, and that was it was pretty popular. But there was a lot of music pressure, and there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that really, in the end, just took its toll on the band, and we called it a day. But as of now, really, I'm not really doing that many live shows or anything like that. I mean, it's more clinics where they're kind of, I just sort of stand there, play some songs, and then people just ask me questions and stuff about technique or, about things I've done or things I'm going to do or, that kind of stuff.
Why don't you describe your music genre?
Well, I suppose it's funny really because the music genre that I've ended up in, which is kind of metal, is sort of not really what I grew up with, you know. So I've kind of grown up with, you know, it's like Steve Vai, Joe Satriani, and then, you know, like Slash from Guns N' Roses, all that kind of stuff, which is kind of more rock to me. It's not really metal at all. But I think since I was in my last band that I was just talking about, because that was predominantly a metal band, I think a lot of my music now has been inspired by and, you know, taken on more of that sound, you know, because of the environment I've been in, like for the last 6 years or whatever. So I kind of progressed into that style, kind of by
But
accident, I guess.
but you are a solo performer now.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I kind of write songs that don't have any lyrics. They're just, you know, instrumental guitar songs. So, but you know, it's not less musical because there's no vocals. It just, you know, it's trying to get a good blend of, like, you know, melodies that you can listen to and quite happily sit down and, you know, just let it wash over you. But also there's the kind of circus act of playing a guitar as well, which often comes into play, and it's often normally by a lot of people the way in which they measure your ability is to either how fast you can play or how difficult your stuff is to play, you know. So it's kind of weird really because, like, you know, it's all music at the end of the day, but it's still measured in, you know, like an athlete, if you like, you know, like how fast you can do something or how technical it is, or, you know, and I think a lot of people, they do gauge, you know, how good a guitar player is by that standard. So, you know,
Yeah,
my music often kind of incorporates that, I suppose, to sort of keep that sort of fan base happy, I guess. I mean, there's a lot of my stuff is difficult. I mean, it's difficult for me, let alone anyone else trying to learn it. But I suppose it's one of those things. It's like, you know, if you've worked so hard on technique and stuff like that, and then you've decided to, you know, try and take it to the next level or push it as far as you can go, then I think, you know, you owe it to yourself really to find a vehicle for all that hard work. So you want to incorporate some of that technique into what you do, because otherwise, what was the point in working on it, you know, for so long?
I'm going to ask you a very naive question because I'm not very familiar with your particular genre. But the metal music that you would play in the UK is it something that is going to be widely acceptable in the United States, or it's a genre maybe that you're going to be introducing in the United
No,
States?
no. I mean, I'm by no means like an inventor of this style of music, or, you know, in fact, a pioneer or anything like that. Really. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, a lot of what I was influenced by 20 years ago is American. So, you know, a lot of what I'm doing now was really popular during the 80s. You know, and that was particularly was the Los Angeles scene. You know, with guitar players, and also a record label called Shrapnel Records, which was, you know, a fairly small independent label that was run by a guy called Mike Varney, and he signed up a lot of guitar talent during the 80s. You know, guys that were doing things that had never been seen before, and to this day, as is still, you know, the standard of which players try to get to. You know, so it's funny, really. I mean, musical genres have kind of moved on, but technique really hit a peak in the 80s, and I don't really think that it's kind of progressed much further than that. I think what it's done is it's kind of sidestepped into other styles, into other maybe concepts, but the actual technique that was being performed then is still as difficult then, or still difficult now as it was then. You know, I don't think it's really got any harder. I just think people have decided to do different things with it now, you know, as time has moved on.
I'm going to share with you a vivid memory that I have about music. I don't spend much time with music, quite honestly, and the music that I would listen to, you guys would reject. You would have nothing to do with it. But
It's not jazz, is it?
I don't know what it is. Well, I love classical music. I can listen to classical music regardless of what my mood is. or where I am. But what I wanted to mention, it must have been about about 15, 16, 17 years ago. There was a period of time, and my sons, who are now 26 and 25, I took them to what is, I don't know if you ever heard of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, Ohio. Have you heard of it?
Yeah. I haven't been there, but I wanted to go.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you ever come to Ohio, you let me know, and I'm going to make a. I mean, it's in the other part of the state, but I would love to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with a musician. It would be a fun thing to do. But the reason
I was in Cleveland like 2012. It begins with K, and I can't remember.
Around Cleveland with K.
Is it K? Is it? Oh God. I can't remember now.
Well,
I can't remember.
So I'd taken my sons, and then about 2 weeks later, I ended up taking my mother and my sister and her daughter. So the point I'm trying to make is there were 3 generations of folks that I had taken to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I asked each one of them, more so the older ones than my sons, because they were a little, well, they certainly didn't remember. But the internet has educated them. What period of what music had the greatest impact on their life? And guess what? 2 out of the 3 generations answered. Well, I'll tell you what it was. It was the British invasion in the early '60s.
Yeah.
Had an unbelievable impact on U.S. music and what we're all about. And that was something I'll always remember because it spread more than one. There were a couple of generations. Now, my question is music still doing that today, or it doesn't? Because I don't know anything about metal. I know nothing about metal, but actually you are the second individual today that I've had a discussion with about metal. Earlier today I did an HOA, and he actually said to me in this HOA, he said, I want to do this music thing, and I want to use HOAs. And I said, and his Google Plus profile indicated that he's a metal person. I mean, he actually says it. I said, you have to watch this HOA that we're doing tonight at 5:30 because we're going to have a metal. I guess you're a metal person from England on, and you'll be able to see what it's all about. So it's good luck to you. What are your expectations when you go to Los Angeles? What are you going to be looking to do?
Well, I mean, it's this convention, so it's like it's a massive.
It's a music convention.
Yeah, it's a music convention. So I'm going to be playing in. There's 2 hotels outside the convention centre. There's a Marriott and a Hilton, and I'll be playing in like the Hilton on a Friday night, and then in the show I'll be doing some clinics and stuff, or just playing for various companies, ESP being one of them, another company called DV Mark. So yeah, I'm going to be really busy for like 3 days, and then I'm going to go to San Francisco after because I've got some filming to do up there.
What kind of filming?
Well, it's in a film studio. Like they have like these 7 cameras. Some of them are roaming around. Others are, just kind of in your face sort of thing. But yeah, it's filming songs. Songs that I've written and done. It's a form of promotion. But those videos get a lot of traffic, and I think one of the videos is up to like 600, 700,000 views. So it's pretty good. Like, I mean, I'm yet to hit 1 million views on any of my videos, but one of them's pretty close. I think the highest is about 800,000 or something.
Wow.
It's kind of getting there. It's getting there.
Is it your music or your dynamic personality that the people are going for?
I've got no idea. Like, I don't know why I'm so animated at this time of night, to be honest with you. It's like I've just woke up. I should be going to bed in a minute.
Okay, so rumor has it, now tell me if this rumor is correct, that you have your own branded guitar. So
yes, I do, yeah.
There's a whole business aspect about what it is that you're doing, and if you would talk about your branded guitar and how important the internet is for you marketing. I think that's a theme that we really want to hit on.
Well, that's yeah. I mean, you know, I was just talking about the EMG videos because EMG is a company that makes guitar pickups. I mean, if you don't know a lot about the guitar, you know, the sound of a guitar is picked up through pickups. So these company are specifically a company that I use in all my instruments. But the videos that they do and they film, they're a good way of promoting different things. So, you know, in those videos, I'll have my own ESP signature guitar. So, you know, everybody will get to see me playing that. I mean, in all the videos that I do, I use that guitar anyway. So whether it be for EMG or ESP, or I'm doing clinics, or I work for Lick Library, which is a UK teaching site. Jam Track Central is another site that I work for, you know. So in all these things that I'm doing, I'm constantly promoting the fact that this is my guitar and this is available. You know, to the mass market to buy. So yeah, I mean, internet, you know, branding and being viewed on the internet is really important from that point of view, because it's the only way, really. I mean, if I didn't have the internet, then no one would really know who I was. So I mean, to be honest, I've kind of got the internet to thank for, you know, all these video views and the kind of mad thing as well, like. Is that, you know, like for me to teach personally is quite difficult where I live. So you know, I do a lot of kind of online teaching and that kind of stuff. You know, which is why I'm starting this academy. You know, so it's going to be my own teaching website where I'm going to be trying to help guitar players basically just become, you know, better players, and you know, there'll be plenty of interaction with me, and they can ask me anything they want, and you know, in turn I'll kind of teach them, or try and teach them, you know, things that I know that are hopefully going to help them, you know, kind of improve as guitarists.
Okay,
So, yeah.
and Nick, what is the social media strategy that you are proposing or suggesting, or you're actually engaging in? I suppose it's built around the academy, and it's built around the guitar.
While we're getting the
That's
Andy
right,
James
yeah. I mean, we
Academy.
have like not just the social media, you know, Facebook, Andy's Facebook, his YouTube channel, Twitter. It's the whole marketing strategy that you know, that I've mapped out and that we've been rolling out now for about 4 or 5 weeks, you know.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to head over to andyjamesguitaracademy.com, they'll see what us in the marketing world know as the landing page, with a free offer to get some free lessons, free video lessons, some downloads, some surprises along the way for Andy's fans, but also for guitar fans and guitar students in general, you know. But yeah, the strategy for the social media is just very simple, you know. Obvious things such as including the URL in the About Us in Facebook. A lot of people miss that. We have custom tabs in Facebook. We actually have 3 custom tabs at the moment. One of them is for a hangout which we're doing on Sunday at 10 p.m. And that is specifically for Andy's fans and for them to engage with Andy and ask questions to Andy, and for him to, you know, be able to communicate with them. We have another custom tab which is basically the landing page embedded into Facebook, so we can target Andy's followers and also his new followers that may land on his page, as well as people who land on his page and who may not click like. They may still click on that custom tab and be taken to the landing page and opt in. And then we have, you know, YouTube strategy, which is kind of following off the back of what Andy's been doing up until I got involved with the academy. And it's just trying to, you know, continue to get those views up. It was quite difficult for me to authorize the YouTube channels so that we could put the clickable links inside all the videos. So I've gone and done all of that. And all of that is driving traffic to the landing page. And then we have new videos that are going up on the page. And just, for people in the know, it's not just a case of putting up a video and putting a link to your website and, you know, sit there and watch for people to land on your website. There's a lot of things, keywords, and how you sort of create a YouTube post. Same for Facebook. There's a lot of tactics, and I wouldn't call them tactics. They're just rights and wrongs really to maximise on that, and it's certainly working for us. We only have about 5 new videos on YouTube since we started the academy, and already they're up to, each video is up to a few thousand hits, a few thousand views, and that's driving traffic continually to the landing page. And then we have Facebook and Twitter, which are linked, and we've run a few things such as giving away one of Andy's new tracks for free. We've did a Facebook kind of like interaction on a status update where people would ask questions to Andy and he would comment on those. We're doing various things, obviously getting banners done, images, editing videos, so we don't give people the full video, we just give them maybe half of it, and then at the end of the video there's some text to drive them to a landing page. So that's basically as far as it goes with the social media strategy, and we'll just keep doing that, and building up this anticipation and interest and giving people teasers of the different content that we've got coming out in the academy, and that's partly leading us into this, which is the Hangouts, using Google Plus, and using a platform where we can, or Andy can, communicate with his massive fan base, and Google and the Hangouts is unlimited, whereas a lot of the webinar services that I looked at are capped at like 1,000 attendees and stuff like that, so that kind of led us to finding you guys and working with you guys on this,
Sunday night when you do your broadcast, are you actually going to attempt to sell something in that broadcast?
In the first broadcast, we're not going to sell anything. The academy isn't ready yet. We don't have a physical product that is, or a link that we can send people to at this point. So there's no selling. It's purely for engagement, for Andy, for his fans to talk to him. And if they want to head over to the AndyJamesGuitarAcademy.com and opt in, and get the free content that we've got, that's great. But it's not we're not using it. We're not in a rush to sort of like make money and try to make money from this and make money from the fans at this point. And one of the main, and Andy will say this as well, we're both in agreement, one of the main objectives of the academy is to give something cool and give a massive benefit to Andy's fans and guitar students out there without them breaking the bank. Affordable, accessible, and we don't just want to be, here's our product, please buy it, here's our product, please buy this, please buy that. It's like the complete opposite. It's more about building a relationship with people, and then once they start to like us, they'll probably be thinking, wow, this is going to be really expensive, and then when they see the price, it's like, oh, I can afford this. That's
that's obviously a very important part of your strategy of your business, and actually you've pretty clearly stated what your strategy. I don't know if you heard the first part of our discussion this evening, but I was talking about strategy that is very important for small businesses to have a good understanding and write it down and look at it and refer to it.
You've got to plan it, you've got to write it out, you've got to engineer it, and you've got to have, plan B, plan C. If this doesn't work, we try this. If this doesn't work, we try that. You've got to test it, you've got to track it, you've got to look at your stats, you've got to communicate with your customers, ask them for feedback, ask them what they liked, what they didn't like, ask them what they want, and then create it for them, and then they're gonna buy it, so you have to know what you're doing or be very lucky.
What's the general demographic of your typical Andy fan?
It ranges like from anyone as like young as 14, 15, right up to people that are kind of like in their 50s, like 60s, playing guitar, or that quite often actually the kids will get into it, and then they'll come to clinics, and then their dads will be like, oh, I've kind of, I used to play guitar, but I'm trying to get into it again now, because you've inspired me to sort of pick up the guitar and get on with it. So
maybe when we get back to our opening screen, Michael will put up on the scroll the URL of the Academy, in case folks, not in case, we want folks to go check it out, and I have to believe that that the internet and all the things that are happening in social media, I have found it to be a very intriguing way to market, and particularly HOAs, which, here we are. You're in your home.
Yeah.
We're in 3 different homes, and
Yeah.
we're
it's
engaged,
amazing.
and we're talking, and we're taking a message out to Google world. It's a new way of doing business, and I wish, 40 years ago when I started doing the small business thing, way before you guys were born, I would think.
Yeah.
Oh, I
it,
don't know.
things were simple. Certainly, technology didn't play as big a part as it does today. But to me, and I hope you guys are seeing it. One of the important things, I think, that small businesses have to have fun. And a musician, I'm sure a musician has fun because it's a fun thing to do. But I'm hoping that just your overall business itself, you're having fun building that business and developing that business. You can engage with your customers like we've never been able to do before. And I find it just a fascinating way. There's millions of people. How big is your business organization, by the way? I mean,
You're
all
looking
the
at
folks.
it.
There you go. I mean, that my point was going to be that we are all solopreneurs. We are one people operations, yet we find
Well,
folks to.
actually, sorry to interrupt there. It's just me and Andy doing the academy, but actually there's a huge team of people, huge team of outsourcers from some of them in India, one guy's in the
Yeah.
Middle East, some in Pakistan, some in the UK, some in my hometown Newcastle, some in the USA. Outsourcers doing not all of the jobs, because I'm doing a lot of them as well, but and Andy, of course, is creating all the content. We wouldn't be anywhere without that. But yeah, it's a massive undertaking to manage, and a lot of hours and a lot of mental energy that gets sucked up, and
Yeah,
fun.
I think for you probably more than any of us. Like, I mean, I get a bit stressed out when I'm filming and stuff, just if I can't get any of the stuff right. But I mean, I know like there's been a lot of work,
But
especially for you and
Nick actually made a really interesting comment, and I want to emphasize what he said to show how important it is. He mentioned content, and that's Andy's job to provide the content. Don't you guys ever forget that it's about content, because you can
Yeah.
create the greatest marketing plan there is, you can have the greatest strategy there is, but if you don't have good content, it goes nowhere.
And
So
actually not always vice versa. You see some, I mean, I don't want to mention any products or anything, or defame anything, but you see a lot of crap products, and if they've got the marketing right on, and they can make a lot of money. But I think with me and Andy, I think we've got all the areas covered, between
well,
the
it's
two of
honest,
us.
isn't it? I mean, for me, the only way I've ever been since I've started teaching. I mean, I've probably been doing it like 7 years on the internet, and the best way I've found to kind of teach or impart information to anybody really is to just be honest.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't ever sit on camera and say that I know everything, because I don't. There's a lot of stuff that I should know really. Professing to be like a teacher and sitting in front of people going, oh yeah, I know what I'm doing. But I mean, I do. But the
you
thing is,
better know what you're doing.
well, yeah, but music is one of those kind of broad subjects that it's not a case of having to know intricate details of what you're doing, because it is largely open to how you interpret music and how you then regurgitate it out into what you do. And I suppose essentially people like what I do, so I then sort of spend all my time trying to dissect what I do to then deliver it in bite-sized chunks that people can understand. But I mean, when I started, I didn't realise 7 years, 8 years down the line, I'd still be doing it, and people would still, seem to have a lot of respect for how I teach and my approach to teaching, because I think, I just keep it simple and honest. Even the most difficult thing on guitar doesn't need to be explained in a very difficult way. There's very easy ways to break stuff down.
Definitely.
Well, I was going to say, as Nick is saying, as Michael is saying in the background, it really is about authenticity. You have to project that whole image, and it has to be about authenticity, because the internet is also making folks smarter, and they can see through if you're not authentic, and they're not going to do business with you if you're not authentic.
Yeah, and also what I see a lot of businesses doing on social media is they don't communicate with their audience, and they don't communicate with their potential customers, and they don't communicate with their current customers. All they're doing is buy my product, buy my product, buy my product. There's always like, buy this, here's this new offer, here's this new thing. There's no communication there, and I think a lot of these businesses probably do all right, but they could do a lot better if they just thought about it in a bit of a like, imagine if you had a shop, right, a bakery shop, and every customer who walked in, you said, buy this cake, buy this cake, buy this cake. How many people are going to walk out? And even if they want the cake, they're just going to be like straight away like, oh. Whereas if you talk to that person, it's kind of like that. You see so many people, so many businesses on social media, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, not communicating with and really finding out what the customer wants, what their issue is, what the problem is, and how you can solve it, and then communicate that message to them, and then you'll find that a lot of people will come running and
well, that's a great bit of advice, and I thank you for sharing that, because you've got to do it. You have to do it, and people, as I said, the internet is making folks smarter, and they don't want to be sold to. They want to they want to have that relationship building.
I mean,
people will buy from those that we like, those that we trust. Like and trust are the most important things that
I think
that
trust
really have
trust
to
is
project.
definitely, what you just said there. Trust is the, honesty and trust. I think, you give out honesty, and then you gain trust through that, and I think that's like a bond that you don't ever want to break with your customer, or student, or whatever you're doing.
Definitely.
Well, I got to check with Michael, to see how we're doing on time, because we have an offer that we want to make sure that we present this evening. It's a special show offer. Michael, where are you? There's Michael.
Hang on. There we go.
How about if you present the special offer for tonight?
Yep, there we go. I'm just going to bring that up. And where is it? There it is. We said last week when we created this Hangout that we were going to make a special offer just for Google Plus users, and we're going to post this in the event page as well, with a link that takes you across to Hosted Hangouts, which is actually the platform we're using to deliver this Hangout, and the one on Sunday as well with Andy and Nick. And what we're going to do is make the offer for the first 25 users to use this platform in any format that they like. We can create the graphics and change the layout, etc., for just $199. So I'm going to go away and put that on the event page, and I'll just hand you back over to the guys for a moment.
Okay.
One thing I would like to say, I would absolutely like to recommend anyone who's watching to work with the guys, with Michael and David, and use the Hangout service, because I consider myself to be quite clued up, quite technical. I'm quite confident that if there's something out there that I wasn't really sure of, I would be able to learn it, via the internet, via a course, via asking around or whatever. But one stumbling block that I hit is with Google. And we all know Google dominates the internet and all of that, but a lot of the services confused me. linking the Google Plus page to the YouTube channel so that we didn't disengage the 11,000 plus subscribers that we had, and a lot of things I wasn't sure of in the settings, and even this Hangout service, like I said before, I did research a lot of the other, I won't mention any names, but the big webinar platforms, ones that are restricted to like 1,000 attendees and cost several $1,000s and stuff like that. But working with Michael and this help that he's gave us is been great, so I would definitely recommend that to anyone who's watching to hit them up, because this is
was that a paid endorsement that you just did, or what?
it wasn't, it's a genuine endorsement, and
you just said people shouldn't sell. No, we definitely appreciate that. We are having a lot of fun with what it is that we're doing. Michael is an extremely creative technology person, and he'll find something and he'll see it and he'll say, that's pretty neat, but I think it can do this also. And so we're finding new things, and we truly are creating a better product every single week. We're finding something and tweaking it and you do the same thing in your business. I mean, you have to do those kind of things, and you want and the most important thing, and we listen and we talk to folks. Excuse me. You can have the greatest idea in the world. You can have the greatest product in the world. You might have the greatest guitar in the world, but if there isn't, you have to understand what it is that your customers, your target audience wants, and because if they don't want it, they're not going to buy it. And so that's a very important part of the formula, and so often small businesses forget. If you have a question about something, or if you're wondering, ask your customers. Yeah. They're the ones that are going to give you the best answers to those kind of questions.
Definitely. That's probably the first thing that, or one of the very first things that we did once we decided we were going to do this Guitar Academy, was we done a survey to Andy's Facebook followers, and we asked questions not just about content, but about what do they want, what's their struggle, what are they struggling with in learning music, what's their goals, why do they want to become this great guitarist, and what's the benefit of the benefit. They don't just want to learn how to play guitar. A lot of them may want to learn how to play guitar so that they can be cool to their friends, or so that they can get a girlfriend. And so there's a lot of
That's what I want to do, man.
Don't come to me for advice on that.
That's what I want. I want to be a 65-year-old guitar player, man, and really.
But usually when you question people, and I see this a lot with a lot of businesses and a lot of consultancy that I do for a lot of other people, they just ask a question. They don't dig 2-3 levels deep and really find out what the key motivator is for that person, and that's when you go 2 to 3 levels deep, that's when you can really, if you use that in your marketing and in your headlines and in your product, then you really sort of communicate with your customer on an emotional level, because people buy based on emotions. Not like a good way to describe it is like with weight loss. Someone probably doesn't want the weight loss product. They don't want the shake or the diet or the pill or whatever it is. They want the result that pill gives them. So you don't really want to put too much attention on the product that's in a box or in a tub with powder. You really want to put the attention on the outcome that person will get once they reach that stage and sell that. And in order to find that out, you have to go a few levels deep in your questioning when you're asking your customers or your potential customers, what do you want? What's your problem? What's your struggle? What's the answer to it? Kind of thing, So. Yeah.
Thank you for that statement. Andy, do you have a final summary kind of statement you'd like to make tonight? Come and listen to my concert in Anaheim, California.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Check out the Academy, AndyJamesGuitarAcademy.com. Watch this space for hopefully a website that's going to change the fortunes in people's guitar playing. So.
Very good. We look forward to it. Are there one last question? Are there other academies out there right now, or is this something that you said, geez, it'd be a great using internet, using Google would be a great way to market the academy?
There are quite a few people doing this in a very similar way. Some have very different artists, several artists teaching online via video lessons. Some people do it on Skype. But I think the way that we're doing it is slightly different or it's the same, but we have a few more features in there that a lot of other people aren't doing, like this, for example. This is one of the things that we're going to be adding into the Academy, which is the live interaction with Andy, where people, the fans and the followers and the members can ask questions and have Andy's immediate response and have that recorded so they can watch that as many times as they want, and a few other things as well that we've got up our sleeves, that'll be coming out, that other sites aren't doing. But yeah, to answer your question, there's a lot of people teaching guitar online, an awful lot.
Well, we really look forward to working with you, and it'll be fun to watch your enterprise grow based upon the things that we think can possibly happen. So good luck to you. And actually, I met both of you just today. It was my pleasure to meet you, and I'll be watching from Cincinnati, Ohio on Sunday evening. The beauty of the internet will allow me to be in Cincinnati, and you'll be broadcasting from. Actually, you'll be in your location. You won't be together
Nope.
Sunday night, will you? Just different locations.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Nick. I don't know if you're going to be in the background or not, or be an active part. But we look forward to working with you, and thank you for your time tonight. And best of luck as you build that academy.
Thanks a lot.
Cheers.
Okay.
See ya.